guys, welcome to the Chill Zone, and today we're going to be talking about the DSCSA. We're really going to be talking about the changes from the DSCSA that is allowing for OriginTrail to see its meteoric rise in industry as well as we see on CoinMarketCap. It's actually quite an amazing thing to see, as the team has been working for so long. We've seen so many community members contribute to this project in so many different ways, and to finally see it being appreciated is quite an amazing thing. But so for those of you who have not been keeping up, let's get a recap on what the DSCSA actually is. The Drug Quality and Security Act was enacted by Congress on November 27th, 2013. Title 2 of the DSCSA, the Drug Supply Chain Security Act, outlines steps to build an electronic, interoperable system to identify and trace certain prescription drugs as they are distributed in the United States. This will enhance the FDA's ability to help protect consumers from exposure to drugs that may be counterfeit, stolen, contaminated, or otherwise harmful. So we're trying to build an interoperable system that will allow for all stakeholders in the pharmaceutical supply chain to really be able to verify their drug. On that note, we're going to revisit a known friend on this channel, Dirk Rogers, the folks over at OriginTrail. They did write an article called "Will EPCIS Event Exchange Replace EDI ASNs for DSCSA Someday?" Now, this article was released in 2015. So when you think about this relative to today, you're going to see a lot of foresight. You're going to see the foresight of Dirk. Actually, he was spot on correct with his predictions. But without further ado, let's dive into this article and really get an understanding of what the US pharmaceutical industry was using prior to the DSCSA implementations and why EPCIS is gaining the adoption it is today. Let's dive into that right now. The use of electronic data exchange advanced shipping notices in the US pharmaceutical supply chain has expanded over the last year, due entirely to its recognition by the FDA as a valid method of passing TI, transaction information, transaction history, and transaction statements as required by the DSCSA. But for now, it's just really important to understand that the industry was really in love with EDI, electronic data exchange, and advanced shipping notices in 2015. Dirk goes on to explain that he did indeed release a survey where he asked the wider community, do you think there will be a movement in the industry towards GS1's EPCIS standard to pass serialized transaction data before it is required in 2023? And he said the response came back majority positive. Yes, the majority of the industry did indeed agree that EPCIS will dominate EDI by 2023. And as you know, we're in 2021. So this really shows the climate of EPCIS. You should be starting to feel, oh my gosh, yes, EPCIS is really a big deal. Yes, it is. Well, some folks did believe that the serialized ASNs would be enough to meet these requirements. But as Dirk rightfully says, that's not the right way to think about this. Let's hear this expert's understanding on why folks would want to start investing at the time in 2015, why you're going to want to start investing into EPCIS based management systems. He says, first of all, adding serial numbers to ASNs probably the least likely to occur at any time, in my opinion. That's because the number of serial numbers added and the sheer volume of data that they would represent would blow up the size of a typical ASN by a huge factor. He goes on to say, yes, all of that infrastructure could be beefed up to handle serial numbers, but that would only be used up until November 2023 anyway, when most people acknowledge that EDI will be incapable of meeting the requirements of the enhanced drug security distribution system. It doesn't make sense for every company to spend money beefing up their EDI solutions for a need that will change in less than 8.5 years from now. Now, this particular portion, I really want you to pay attention. He says, clearly most people agree that the industry will shift to the use of EPCIS event-based data exchange, even before it is necessary to meet the EDDS in 2023. But how long before? It makes sense for manufacturers, repackagers, CMOs, CPOs, 3PLs to invest in EPCIS-based serial number management and application solutions for in-house use or between themselves as part of their deadline to apply serial numbers to every package by November of 2017. So he's saying it does not really make sense to really go down the road of EDI. It does not make sense because that's old news. EPCIS is the new, fresh, young blood on the block that's gaining all the adoption. So we're gonna hop into our time machine and we're gonna jump forward to today in 2021, where we see the Drug Supply Chain Security Act Phase 2 is here. And this article was released by the same folks at OriginTrail, but this was released on January 25th of 2021. So this is very recent news. This is pretty much up to date. This is modern. It says here, DSCSA Phase 2, which goes into effect on November 27th of 2023, is intended to roll out the electronic tracing of products at the package level. We're talking about tracing products at the package level. Of course, for things like this, you already know these kind of pieces we're talking about. We're talking about the GS1 data matrix that is basically an amalgamation of all these different GS1 standards.
Today, we expect so much more information about the things we buy. We need to be able to identify a product not just among other options on the shelf, but among every other product in the world, from a store you can carry in the palm of your hand. We need to know if a product, like this can of soup, is authentic, whether it's been recalled or expired, and where the ingredients came from. Industry to make big changes, often driven by regulation, while addressing the need for global interoperability. So, they embraced an advanced barcode called the GS1 Data Matrix for medicinal products. This new barcode contains more than just the GTIN number. It helps ensure patients are getting a safe, unexpired product and links that information to patient records automatically.
Digital link, which gives these items and things an actual web identity, giving these items their own sort of sovereignty in a way in the digital world. So we're creating a digital twin for these items. Now it says to make this happen, the 2023 requirements are comprised of 3 specific parts, and they are as follows. Number 1, interoperable exchange. Trading partners must exchange required transaction information, TI, and the transaction statements, TS, in a secure, electronic, and interoperable manner. And the TI must include product identifier at the package level. Interoperable verification. Trading partners must be able to verify the product identifier on a package or sealed homogeneous case in a secure, electronic, and interoperable manner. Interoperable tracing. Trading partners must maintain secure electronic and interoperable systems and processes to provide TI and TS in response to a request for it, and promptly facilitate gathering the information necessary to produce the TI for each transaction going back to the manufacturer. All of these things you must be able to achieve in an interoperable way. And we know that OriginTrail, being based on GS1 standards, leveraging the properties of linked data on their OriginTrail decentralized knowledge graph, is a prime contender, if not the prime contender for these sort of implementations, as it is also 100% open source. So this means all supply chain stakeholders and all supply chain partners can have a great time really driving into the OriginTrail ecosystem to leverage the EPCIS 2.0 standards and all these different tools within the knowledge economy. But here's the real kicker. I want you to see this part because in 2021, it's important to know what is it does. Do people care about EPCIS today? Is this did Dirk really get it right? Did Dirk predict that EPCIS would be the winner? Well, let's see what this article has to say. In step number 1, it says, pick a standard for communication between trading partners. Even though EPCIS seems that it is the clear winner here, there are companies in the industry wanting to use something else because EPCIS is very complex. I believe it's too late for that. EPCIS has been tried and it works. And if you don't want to roll out EPCIS, then please lay another standard that will solve this, or let's please stop suggesting this and let's help get EPCIS adopted. Now, this is so funny to me because in our last video, we had a great time laughing at Dirk's sense of at Dirk's funny statement when he said this is America after all. Now we have Christian Souza at RxTrace basically saying put up or shut up. It's so right. Put up or shut up. And it says in step number 2, follow the standard. Whichever standard is chosen, let's please follow it. Many service providers are adding their own spin on EPCIS. This also needs to stop. If we want true interoperability, we must follow the standard exactly how it is written. Now, when we think about OriginTrail's implementation of EPCIS, and when we think of NOS, the Network Operating System, which is really there to help organizations onboard the OriginTrail decentralized network, utilizing and leveraging OriginTrail for these purposes is designed to onboard entities with ease. And of course, number 3, execution. A lot of associations and groups are in what I like to call theory mode. This is nice, but the clock is ticking. Planning and execution of an interoperable system must be executed. So let's start with the adaptation of EPCIS. So I feel really good getting this out here because you guys can see that OriginTrail is really at the center, is a centerpiece of the industry that we know of today. Without OriginTrail, of course, these things are possible. And as Phil himself said at the Liftoff event, we can build proprietary solutions, but it's within our best interests to go with an open source, decentralized solution that allows for everyone to have a stake in the systems that they leverage. So in the end of this very long battle between EPCIS and EDI, we are seeing that EPCIS has become the victor, and as a result of that, so has OriginTrail.
It'll never happen, trust me.